Hey guys, it's me, Jennifer, here at Fairway, and I hope you guys are having a great Friday. I'm excited it's Friday. I wanted to cover a subject that I've been asked several times about that I just wanted to make a video about to just kind of give information. And I know a lot of people are very curious about investment property and preparing for the future. And even myself, I think about those things of not knowing if there'll be Social Security when I retire, saving for 401k, saving for the future so that we all don't have to work forever, right? So investment property is one of the best ways to make sure that you have some additional income for later. And a lot of people ask about that because they're curious about purchasing. So when I'm asked about that, it usually narrows down into three different categories. The first one is, how can I purchase a house that I want to rent out, continue to keep my house that I live in, but purchase another home to rent out that'll be maybe cheaper than the current house or whatever. So we'll talk about that. The second question I get is when someone wants to no longer live in the house they own, but keep it to rent it out and then buy another house to live in as their primary. So that's another cool option. The third one that I get asked about is when someone wants to buy a house to be an Airbnb or to be a VRBO, so a temporary type rental. And then also giving the option so that that person can live there whenever they want to as a vacation home. So that's a third type that I get asked about. So going to the first one, where someone wants to just buy an investment property, one of the coolest things, because a lot of people think that they just have to qualify outright for mortgage number one and mortgage number two, and people are worried about having enough income to cover that. But what's really cool is that we can get an estimate from the appraiser when the appraisal's done that will tell us what the current market value is for rent for that property that's being purchased, and we can use 75% of that amount. So just for easy numbers, let's say that the appraiser said that we can use that the fair market value for the rent for that house is about $1,000 a month. It means that we can use, for our numbers, $750 to offset that mortgage payment. So then it could help qualify better. And even more if the house, the fair rent value is $2,000 or whatnot. So just know that that's something that we can use to make the numbers easier to qualify for. Now, when you're buying an investment property, it's important to know that the two main challenges is that there does have to be at least 15% down. Most of the time it's 20%. 15% is super rare. I mean, everything has to be perfect, all the stars lining up in the sky correctly. But 20% is very common for the down payment for the investment properties. Also, the interest rates are higher. Just because it's an investment property, not the house that you would live in, there is higher risk on those, and so the interest rates are always a little bit higher than the primary houses, so just FYI. Now, the second one is if someone wants to convert their current house into a rental and keep it, and then buy a new house that they're going to live in. So people worry about the same thing, having to qualify for their current mortgage and having to qualify for the new mortgage and not being sure that they have enough income for both of those. So the way that can be handled, where we can have a little bit of freedom, a little bit of wiggle room, is very similar to the first option I talked about, but you could actually go ahead and get a lease agreement on your current house, have someone that in line that already wants to rent your house out, and we can use, and if we get a full executed lease agreement that covers at least 12 months, doesn't mean you're already renting it out and homeless. It just means we've got a lease agreement that once you do move out, it starts. So covering 12 months and a copy of the deposit that person pays. At that point, we can use, again, 75% of that amount. So if somebody's already agreed to rent your house for $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month, we get to use 75% of that to count as income to offset those payments. So it helps alleviate what you have to qualify for. Now, the third option is much more tricky, where someone wants to just buy a house for Airbnb or VRBO. And with those instances, because it's not a consistent set rental lease agreement, those you do have to qualify for both. So it's just a conversation that we would want to have. And especially if you're going to be living in it to be your second home or vacation home part of the time, it's a different cookie. So I just say all that to say that as people my age, maybe even younger, older, whatever, thinking about where am I going to have extra income from when I don't want to work anymore, when I'm ready to retire, I think investment property is 100% where it's at. Real estate is always such an amazing thing to have. I mean, I've talked about before how I bought my house for, I want to say it was like $95,000 12 years ago, 13 years ago. And now that thing would sell for so much more. And so just over time, even when you're 80 years old and ready to sell your investment property, you would be sitting on this nest egg of money to live off of or whatever. And so it's just a good time. It's never too late to start. There are no dumb questions. Always remember, Jennifer says that. There are never any dumb questions. So call me if you'd like to chat about it and maybe work out a plan to see what you need to do to make investment properties part of your portfolio for life and for retirement. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.